Hey everybody, it's Rosie, and today I'm going to show you how I made the Queen Ginger herself, Kristen Applebees. She was one of the first ones that I made, but because different Funko Pops came in at different times and different combinations of heads and bodies that I needed and different things I had to sculpt, I just did them all at once and I did them all at different times. So her body was the first body I actually painted, and her head was one of the ones in the middle. But she and Gorgog were actually the two first ones that I finished overall. And she's still overall one of my favorites, I think, just because it was the first body of a girl that I did. And I love her little rainbow belt. She just has the most like fun little tiny details, and I mean, Ginger. She is my ginger buddy, and we must stick together. Wore the only tie-dye shirt I could find, so I could try and be on brand. Starting off, we have this Nancy Wheeler Funko Pop. I'm going to use the head for Kristen here, and then I use the body for Adine, which will be the next video, and then I give the gun that Adine holds to Riz. So starting off, I just heat up the head for a couple minutes with a hairdryer, which makes it easier to pull the head off of the body. Then I paint the head orange. It took a couple of coats to get it really solidly pigmented orange, and there's the body in the back there, and we'll get to that in a minute. I had to mix a special orange color because I didn't want just like a bright orange from a bottle. I wanted a realistic orange hair color, and I think I did pretty good at that. As a redhead myself, I was very concerned about the shade of red. Then I give her some orange eyebrows, obviously. Then I took a pencil because it was the smallest thing I had, and I dipped it in paint to try and copy the freckle pattern that I had on the Max Funko Pop that I had right next to me, which I turned into the Adine Funko Pop. But since she started out as a redhead, she had freckles, and so I compared it, but it was way too dark. It was too orange, and I just didn't like it, and I thought even if I mixed it with a different paint color, I wasn't gonna like it, so I just ditched the freckles. Now I am making Kristen's staff, which took a little bit of time and it was really finicky, but I figured out that my paintbrush was actually the perfect width, and I decided on a length to fit in her hands, and so then it was just matching it up next to the paintbrush, which was a big help. It was hard to make it into the question mark shape, but once I got it, it was awesome. And I cook it in an oven that, when you cook clay, make sure you have a separate oven for your clay and for your food. Don't cook clay where you cook food. And I cook it at about 275 for 15 minutes. For the shirt, I start with a medium purple color because I go in later to add dark purple and light purple for the tie-dye colors, but I figured medium purple was a good base. It took a while to cover up all of the stripes. For the tie-dye shirt, I didn't really know the best way to do this, so I just started layering it on in these kind of like striped out patterns, kind of like, I think it's called like a starburst tie-dye. I don't know that much about tie-dye, but this is what the tie-dye pattern I chose looked like, and I added on dark purple and light purple, just trying to make it look all blended together, and it didn't really seem right, and then I added this white in, and that's when it really all came together. And then I paint the cuffs of the shirt and the collar of the shirt a dark purple to bring it all together. And then I paint the socks white, and I start painting them green, but I cut out most of that footage because I don't end up keeping this shoe design, so it's really just a waste of time to show it. I end up painting the shoes completely black because I didn't like the green thing that I had going on, and Kristen talks about how she gets cool lesbian boots, and that's what I decided to do, black boots. So this is the finished. The tie-dye, I gave her a watch with a watch face, and I gave her a rainbow belt, which is really my favorite thing that I did on any of the Funko Pops because it's really small detailed, and I made the pants a darker wash denim. Here is the staff. I all cooked and ready, I put it in her hand, and at first I thought I was going to have to cut it and make it shorter because it seemed way too long, but once I put the head on, it's actually perfect. I painted a warm toned brown because it's supposed to be a wooden staff, and at the top I paint it on really thick because I'm trying to create a texture, as opposed to most of the time with paint where you're trying to lay it on really flat because you don't want to see that there's layered up paint there. She has these leaves wrapped around the top of her staff, and that was just kind of above my sculpting capability, so to create that texture I did it all with just layering the paint on really thick. And here is the green of the leaves, and you can see I'm using a lot of paint. I think it's leaves. It might be something else. I'm gonna call it leaves. And then I put a light green on top of that darker green to add depth so that it looks like there's actually something wrapped around instead of just green paint on something. And here is the finished parts. I've got the staff with all of its textured painted leafiness, and it's bendy so it's not gonna break, which is nice. I've got the finished body with the tie-dye shirt, the black combat boots, that's what I tried to make it look like, her rainbow belt, which I really do, it's my favorite thing, and it's the smallest detail that nobody will ever notice, but it's one of my favorite things that I did. And her freckleless red hair, I gave her a purple scrunchie to go with the shirt. Now all that's left to do is put the body together and put her on her stand and give her her staff. The Kristen Funko Pop really was one of my favorite ones that I did. It was the first one that I finished because the Max Funko Pop was the first one that I got in. So I did her body first, and it was one of my favorite ones. She should honestly be my favorite character because by the end, she's like kind of weird about religion. I'm very weird about religion, and I'm a redhead. And whenever I think about making Dungeons and Dragons characters, or whenever I played WoW, I was always the cleric type characters, so she should be my favorite. But she's not. Riz is my favorite, but I do love this one, and she came out really nice. So until next time, this is Rosie and Kristen signing off.